Should I turn that on?
Oh yeah. Want to turn it on first? Thank you.
This one. Oh, where is it?
It's turning on. It's on.
Premani Ketan Kulasharayo Jakakana Vinodana Samasta Guna Gana Dhamma Yamuna Jivana Tirhuli Parayana Marasa Chandra Chatora Namasudaras, oh Krishna Yas, Rako Vachana Manna Mora. Namasudaras, oh Krishna Yas, Rako Vachana Manna Mora. For Premanande, Haribo.
Haribo.
Okay. So welcome to our ongoing study of Srimad Bhagavatam at Bhakti Vaibhava. Today we are on 3rd Canto, Chapter 12, Creation of the Kumaras and Others. Yesterday we heard about the creation, something. We heard about annihilation. We heard about, what was the title of the previous chapter? Oh, the time, calculation of time from the atom. Right, we were dealing with time and the atoms. So now we're going to hear more about Brahma's creation. And of course, first of all, he creates the Kumaras. And then Kumaras were not very helpful, and the result of Brahma's frustration over the Kumaras was Rudra appears. And Rudra is also not very not very helpful for what Brahma wants. And after Rudra, then you get the 10 sages coming. And then at the end we will hear also about Swayambhuva Manu and Satarupa. And we will also hear about Brahma's daughter, Vak, and what happens there. Alright, so Maitreya says, I've told you the glories of the Lord in his feature of Kala. Now hear from me about the creation of Brahma, the reservoir of all Vedic knowledge. And the first thing Brahma creates are, he has to create these certain feelings which are very necessary for the material world. To make the material world a success, there has to be first of all these different emotional feelings, these conceptions of life. So there are 5 different engagements which he creates, dealing with the sense of false identity, identifying ourselves with the material body. because if he doesn't create these misconceptions, if he doesn't create all this ignorance, then the material world will not be a success. And he wants to create the material world that people will think, oh, this is my home, I belong here, I'm an Indian, or I'm an American, or whatever we're thinking we're the body. So that kind of ignorance is necessary to make the material world prolong. That people they'll endeavour. Prabhupada went to the UK, he came to England, and it was winter time. Well, I don't know if it was winter, but the weather was bad. You don't get a lot of good weather in England. And so Prabhupada was on a television program, and the interviewer asked him, "What's it like in hell?" And Prabhupada immediately said, "This is hell. This England, this is hell." He said, "You never see the sun. Every day cloudy, wet, windy, damp." Even in Russia, in China, they get sunshine, but in England, very rare you get sunshine. You get a lot of clouds. So Prabhupada said this was hell. But then Prabhupada said, anyway, it's a great credit to you British people. You built up your empire here, you built up your place. You put up so many things, monuments and whatever, buildings, in such a miserable place. Although the place is so miserable, they make their home there. Right? So that's the nature of the material world. And of course the famous example is how Indra got cursed by Brihaspati to become a pig. And then when Brihaspati came to take him back, he said, "Oh no, I'm happy here. I'm happy in my pig house. I have my pig family here." So that ignorance, that sense of forgetting our real identity, that is the primary feature of the material world. And because we identify with the material body, so then there's also the sense of death, fear of death. And we have that sense of ownership, that this is mine. This is, even people climb up to the top of Mount Everest, we put the flag there, I claim this mountain for my country. They go to the moon, they say they went to the moon, and what do when they get on? They put the American flag there, I claim this planet, that sense of ownership, that this belongs to me. So what is actually ours? So this self-deception, the sense of death, anger after frustration, the sense of false ownership and the illusory bodily conception, or forgetfulness of one's real identity. If we remembered our real identity, we would never want to work, we would never go to college and sit and study so many things. We'd spend so much time, waste so much of our life. So it's all because of forgetfulness of our real identity. That's why people are so much against our movement. Because if people actually read Prabhupada's books and if they really understand, then their lives will have no meaning anymore. They'll just give up all that work. Everything is just simply meaningless. So this this had to be Brahma's first task. He had to create all of this. He has to create conditions under which people will live in this material world. But of course, when he created it, he was not very happy. He wasn't very satisfied. It's not a very pleasing thing to do. So Prabhupada writes, Brahma himself is a creation of the Supreme Lord. And the 5 kinds of nescience which condition the living entities in material existence are creations of Brahma. And Prabhupada, Patanjali also accepts 5 kinds of nations. Patanjali means the Yoga Sutras. Yoga Sutras, there was an article written in Back to Godhead by His Grace Satyaraj Prabhu about the Yoga Sutras. And he says that, Patanjali, maybe he did know there was a Supreme Lord, but he didn't admit it in the Yoga Sutras. Kind of hid it. The Yoga Sutras is kind of impersonal. Hridayananda Maharaj has he's done some commentaries on the Yoga Sutra. Never got published yet. We published it in China because Yoga Sutra is very popular and people wanted it. So we had it done in Chinese. So creating the 5 kinds of nations had not a very good effect on Lord Brahma. He didn't feel very satisfied or very pleased with what he was doing. So after he created it, he purified himself by meditation on the personality of Godhead. Then he began another term of creation. So Brahma, of course, he's a devotee. He's our Adi Guru. So naturally, when he created these nescience activities, it's not very satisfying. Just like if somebody comes in and asks you, "Can you tell me where I can get some fried chicken and beef?" and are you going to tell them? We don't tell them, right? I remember we used to be on Sankirtan in London. In London, you get tourists there and people will come, "Where is this? Where is that?" And I would say, "Oh, go here." I give them the address of the temple. I say, "You go there, you'll find everything there." Send them to the temple. I'm not going to send them to the,
supermarket.
The different things which they want to see in London. I'll send them to the temple. Let them go to the temple. So everything is there. Where are you from? Goloka. You're also from Goloka. We're all from Goloka. Prabhupada was never mundane. People asked him, "How old are you, Swamiji?" What would he say? When people asked him, "How old are you, Swamiji?" What would he say? How would he reply? "I am the same age as you." Prabhupada would say like that. "I am the same age as you," because we're all spirit souls. You bring them to the spiritual platform. It's our duty, our business as devotees. We have to elevate the consciousness of people. We have to bring them to the higher platform. And we have to tell them, you are a spirit soul. I am also spirit soul. When I was young man, you were young in another body. You were old in another body. Now I'm old, you're young. But previously, when I was young, you were old in another body. But you're not the body, you're a soul. So we have to think how we can elevate the consciousness of people, bring them to the higher platform. And people who are expert book distributors, they will be very expert in presenting Prabhupada's books. So this is just what you want. This has everything you're looking for. It's all here in this book. And that's how people could distribute so many books. So Prabhupada writes in the purport here, the question may be raised, why the Lord, who is all-merciful, helps one to remember and another to forget? Is it partiality?
Based on living into the desire.
The living entity is partially independent. He partially possesses all the qualities of the Lord. Anyone who has some independence may misuse it due to ignorance. And when we misuse it, we glide into hell. The Lord tries to protect. The Lord tries to protect him, but the living entity persists, and the Lord helps him to forget his real position. Just like the son wants to smoke a cigarette, and the father says, no, don't smoke, it's not good for you, you'll waste your money, it's bad for your health, it's dirty. No, I want to smoke, I want to smoke. Father's trying to stop. Eventually the son grows up. He gets to the age where the father can no longer control him. So the father can say, okay, you do it then. So similarly, it's like that with the Lord. He's watching, he's trying to guide us, he's telling us, this is not good, don't do that, but we don't like to listen. So he gives us some independence. But if we misuse the independence, then we go into the darkest region of ignorance. So we're misusing our independence. That's why we're rotting in the material world. And 5 kinds of nations are imposed upon us. And Prabhupada says, Brahma creates all these as a matter of necessity, but he is not happy in doing so. A devotee of the Lord naturally doesn't like to see anyone falling down from his real position. So Brahma, Lord Krishna facilitates people whatever they want. They want to go against the Lord. Krishna says, hey, go ahead, go ahead. Go and enjoy, go, see if you... Well, the Lord knows they're not going to be happy, they're not going to get any real happiness. They have to go. We say, learn from the school of hard knocks. The school of hard knocks, right? The story is the bald-headed man walked under a bale tree, got hit on the head by a bale fruit. Bale fruits are very hard. one falls on your head, your bald head, not very nice, So he didn't walk under a bay tree after that. That's learning from the school of hard knocks. We try to enjoy the material world and we get kicked. And I don't want to do that again, I got kicked that last time, I'm not going to do that again. So, the same way, Lord Krishna facilitates, and Brahma also helps. He's also arranging for people that they can enjoy the material world. They think, this is mine, this is my house, this is my land. She is mine and he is mine, and these are our children, these are all mine. Any moment they can be taken from you, anything can happen. So this is the first step in creation, creating that illusion that we are thinking this is mine. And then when you think something is yours, then you're very attached to it. You don't want to lose it. So that fear of losing things, and the fear of death, that is the ultimate fear. We had this one devotee in Russia. What happened was the husband had some problem. Husband had some problem with the police. So he was the police made a case against him, and he was sent to jail. But they told him, he said, either you can go to jail or you can go fight in the war. Join the army and fight the war against Ukraine. So the jail, being in the prison, not very attractive. So he went to the war, but he got killed. So he was saying, he said, either I'm going to die in the jail or I'll die in the war. Either we got to die. So he went to the war, fought, and in a short time he died, got killed in some kind of combat. So that fear of death is there, particularly when you go to war, you're fighting. Did you ever read Ernest Hemingway? You read Ernest Hemingway? He wrote a lot of it. He was in the Spanish Civil War, so he was writing about death, the fear of death. People become philosophical at the time of near the time of death. You have to work, think you're going to die, and become more philosophical. So that fear of death is there.
Why do they become philosophical?
Huh?
Why do they become philosophical?
Why do they become philosophical? Because you think more about life. It just makes you think more. You become introspective. You start to think, what have I done with my life? Have we done something worthwhile? Have you made a proper use of the life? Or have you wasted the life?
Maharaj, small question. Brahma is creating these coverings for the living entity, but Maya has this avarnatika shakti called covering potency. What is the difference, Maharaj? Brahma is creating covering of the real identity. Maya has this covering potency, avarnatika shakti. she also covers the jiva. So what is the difference?
Well, no, the Maya has two potencies, right? There's the throwing potency and then the covering. So that's Maya. So Brahma is creating nation, 5 kinds of nations. Not necessarily just coverings, but they're actually nation activities. That sense of being the proprietor, being the thinking, I'm the body, this is mine. That sense. What being talked about, the covering of the soul, how the soul is thrown into the material world and then covered. The soul is always pure, but it becomes covered in contact with the material energy. So Brahma has created 5 kinds of nation engagements. It's a creation. Brahma has created these things. Prabhupada writes here in the purport, although Brahma created the principles of nations as a matter of necessity for those living entities who are destined to ignorance by the will of the Lord, he was not satisfied in performing such a thankless task. So principles of nations, that this feeling of that this is mine, the sense of false identity in the body and the fear of losing something. We think the country which we're born in is worshipable, that kind of thing. Yashatma buddhi gunape tridakute svati kalatradeshu bhoma ijati yatirtha buddhi shavale nakarachit janesva vigneshu saheva gokara. Right? So these are that bodily concept of life. You think the country which you're born in is worshipable, and the body, we're thinking the body is that we are the body, we're the elements of the body, and we think you go to a holy place just to take a bath there. You don't go to hear from the souls. So what happened here with Lord Brahma created different influences of nations. The influence of nations. Yeah, how to distinguish it between Brahma's 2 creations? Anybody can give any idea about that?
How to differentiate between
the 2 kinds of Brahma, it said the Maya that there's 2 features. One is the throwing potency and the other is the covering potency. So we're thrown out of the material world, out of the spiritual world into the material world. We get thrown out, just like you're in the airplane and maybe the airplane gets trouble, you've got to get out, you press the ejection button, and you get shot right out of the airplane, so we get shot right out of the spiritual world. We come out of the spiritual world, we come into this material world. It's a throwing potency. And then the covering potency. We come into this world and we are thinking, oh, it's okay here. I've got my nice setup here. I've got my nice motor car. I've got my apartment on the bank of the Jalangi, and I'm having my rice and dal every day. I'm happy. We're not thinking there's old age, disease and death. We're not thinking there's 8,400,000 different species of life. And we can be put into any different species of life. So we forget these things. So that this is the kind of the influence of nations. Alright, so then he creates the four Kumaras. The first creation. Sanaka, Sanandan, Sanatan and Sanat Kumar. And they're each given one branch of knowledge, right? One is given Sankhya. Sankhya meaning the analytical study of material conditions. Sankhya, Lord Kapila taught Sankhya. And then Yoga, the mysticism for liberation. And then you've got also Tyag, or you've got Vairagya. Vairagya, complete detachment from material enjoyment. And then Tapas, voluntary austerities performed for spiritual perfection. So 4 principles for spiritual advancement. Have you ever been to a Nimbarka temple? Did you go to the Nimbarka temple? Nimbarka Sampradaya. Coming from the 4 Kumaras. Because the 4 Kumaras are the Adi Guru, so they don't like people to get married there in the Bhakti Sampradaya. You should be brahmachari, like the 4 Kumaras. Don't grow old. You should be like the 4 Kumaras. Don't grow old. They don't encourage marriage. But they worship Radha and Krishna. They worship the gopis. And there's an Nimbarka temple there at Varsana, in Vrindavan, you get them. Nimbarka Sampradaya. They're still there. And they have an Acharya who goes around the world preaching. And they claim they're the oldest Sampradaya. That's disputed though. But they claim that we're the original Sampradaya.
But Brahma is father. Kumara.
Yeah, but Nimbarka Acharya is before Ramanuja. They say it's before Ramanuja Acharya. You don't think about that. Well, Brahman. I think a couple of years ago we had a program here in Mayapur, and they had people from the different sampradayas here, and they were speaking. They invited different people to speak, and they had brought the Acharya from the Nimbarka Sampradaya, and somebody came from also the other Sampradayas, and they were each speaking and presenting something. It was a nice program. We go to Belpakor on Parikrama. We go to Belpakor, and Belpakor, the deity of Madan Gopal is there. It's the deity of Nilambar Chakravarti. And we always hear about the 4 Kumaras there, because it said the 4 Kumaras had come there, and they were in the forest there, and they were worshipping Lord Shiva. And they were offering veil leaves and like that, to Lord Shiva. And what happened was the four Kumaras came there to this Nimbaditya. There was this one Brahmana, Nimbaditya, and they came to him and they told him that we've chosen you to be the successor of the Sampradaya. We want you to carry the knowledge on. It's a whole story about it, Nimbaditya. And he met the four Kumaras, and the four Kumaras gave him the knowledge of their Sampradaya and passed on the knowledge. That's how Nimbarka Sampradaya came about. Became known as the Nimbarka Sampradaya.
Oh, so the stage was called Nimbaditya.
Yeah,
But Nimbarka is like the Sampradaya.
yeah. Mm.
This also, Maitreya speaking is in the Sampradaya of the Kumaras as well.
Maitreya, who did he get the knowledge? Who was the guru of Maitreya? Parasara. And Parasara's guru was Sankhya Muni. And Sankhya Muni heard from Sanat Kumar, who heard from Lord Sankirtan. Right. So, was that the Lord Sankirtan's the guru? Not the four Kumaras. Like you could have a Sankirtan Sampradaya. There's other Sampradayas, just like in Bhagavad Gita, Imam Vivishvate Yoga, that's the line from the sun god. Or Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god, Vivishvan. And Vivishvan gave it to Manav. So, sun god, there's a line there, a line of the cyclic succession. But in course of time, the knowledge was lost. And the Lord had to come and re-establish. So there's been different sampradayas. There are different sampradayas. So I don't know which particular one Maitreya is in.
Well, his teacher was the Kumaras, so
Kumara Sampradaya. Well, how long ago was it the four Kumaras came, Was it even this day of Brahma? You don't know what if it, So sometimes they write about things from another kalpa. You don't know when it was when Vidura met Maitreya. Yeah, if it was this day of Brahma, then at this time, in this millennium, was it in this millennium that Maitreya met with Vidura? And does it have to be in a sampradaya? Yeah, it should be, right? He received the knowledge in an authorized channel. We don't know which particular sampradaya it was. It could have been the four Kumar sampradaya, but that doesn't mean it's Nimbarka's line.
yeah, for sure, it's the Kumara.
And Kumaras, they're passing on what they got from Lord Sankirtan. So, it certainly doesn't say anything about that. This means that Maitreya or Vidura is in the line of the four Kumaras. Because that's thousands of years ago.
Maitreya heard Uddhav Gita from Krishna, no?
Maitreya?
Heard from Krishna.
He heard from Krishna, yeah.
So
He did hear. At the time of Lord Krishna's departure, Maitreya was there. He was given a message to give to Vidura. What about Uddhava? What line is it? Uddhava was directly with Krishna.
he was also Brihaspati's disciple, right?
Yeah.
Uddhava is also Brihaspati's disciple.
Yeah, he's a disciple of Brihaspati. Yeah.
And we had Brihaspati had from Sankyayan Rishi.
Yeah. Well, you don't know what Uddhava was learning from Brihaspati. Nobody ever says, oh well, Brihaspati heard the Bhagavatam from we don't hear that. Brihaspati is the guru of the demigods. Right? So Uddhava had got knowledge he got some connection there. But what he heard, did he hear Srimad Bhagavatam? I don't know about that. Was it the Srimad, or was it just material? Was it just knowledge, the knowledge which was given with the demigods? I don't know. There would be a little bit speculation to say there like that, if you say, oh, because he heard Srimad Bhagavatam. You don't know if he was transmitting the Srimad Bhagavatam. He heard it, but did he transmit it again?
Brihaspati is a personalist also. Doubtful.
Well, he's the guru of the demigods.
Yeah, but it's said in different places that Brihaspati is not like
No, a devotee.
not a pure devotee.
Not a pure devotee.
Until he comes as a Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya.
Yeah. Sarvabhauma. So he got purified in the Kali Yuga, became a devotee. Alright, so anyway, the four Kumaras, they're not going to generate progeny. My dear sons now generate progeny, but due to their being attached to Vasudeva, they aimed at liberation, and therefore they expressed their unwillingness. They didn't want to be entangled in the false relationship of family bondage. Family bondage, the four Kumaras. We don't want to get involved in family bondage. Right? How do you get involved with family bondage? How does that happen?
Meet Bhava.
My Chuni Baba. Too much attachment. Get too much affectionate for the family members. Oh, my parents, I have to go and take care of them. That kind of thinking. Family affection. Parents are usually they're not very willing to have their children become devotees, to take on Krishna consciousness. Isn't what about me? You have to take care of me.
Were your parents like that, Maharaj?
I don't know, I left early. I left a long time ago. So people may ask how the Kumaras could refuse the order of Brahma. How they could refuse the order of Brahma, who was their father. Can you refuse the order of your father? What does your father want you to do? And what do you do? And did your father want you to become a devotee?
He is very neutral.
Huh? Neutral. Really? Oh, okay.
My father left his body right when I became a devotee.
Oh, really? I was shocked, huh?
He was pretty okay with it though, and he said Hare Krishna to me once.
Oh, really?
He didn't seem to care, but he was just like less than a year after I became a devotee, he left his body.
Hmm.
My mother was not happy though, but now she likes it.
Oh, yeah?
She hated it at first, but then I gave her prasadam, and now she actually comes to the temple.
Oh, really?
Even though I'm not there in Tucson, she still goes to the temple sometimes.
Oh.
Takes prasadam.
Preaching to parents is a very difficult thing. Trying to preach to your parents. Well, why didn't you preach to your parents? Oh, you ever tried preaching? You want to preach to my parents? Go ahead. Waste your time, you know.
In India, when we say our parents are not devotees, people like they're surprised, you know, their jaw drops like, really? They're like, your family are not devotees? they're like surprised.
There are many families where parents are not devoted in India too.
Even in India?
Yeah. It's everywhere. Most of the youth preaching, the parents are not devotees. They go to colleges, like youth colleges preaching. Parents are not devotees.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a lot of materialistic ambitions for their children.
Yeah.
I know. Even Chaitanya Charan, you know Chaitanya Charan from Pune, you know. He also told me, he had the same, you know, when I said, what, preach to your parents? You gotta be joking. he agreed with me. He said, yeah, trying to preach to parents is impossible. You know? Get nowhere. Anyway, anyone who gives up worldly relationships to take shelter at the lotus feet of the Lord, he is not a debtor or servant of anyone. He doesn't owe anything to the demigods, the forefathers, the sages, the living entities, relatives, or the members of human society. So there was nothing wrong in the Kumaras when they refused their great father's request that they become family men. We have debts to the demigods. We're indebted to the forefathers. We're indebted to our ancestors. We're indebted to our country and society. But if we surrender to Krishna, you're not in debt anymore. All your debts are liquidated by surrendering to Krishna. Of course, that can create problems, right? You get people coming along, they've got a lot of debts, and they're just running away from the debts, you know. Oh, debts, I have a debt, so many debts to pay off. I'll just surrender and become a devotee. And so, okay, they can be encouraged for some time, but we have to see how long we're going to be devotees. That's another thing. They may be devotee for a little while. They have reasons why they surrender. Just like Ramananda Roy is discussing with Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya asked Ramananda Roy, give me a verse from the scriptures about the highest principles of religion. So at one point, Ramananda Roy says, Sarva Dharma Parigeshna Mamikam Sharanam. So just surrender everything. But Lord Chaitanya said, no, that's not good. That will not be enough. Why? Because people have their motivations, why they're surrendering. Why are they surrendering? Oh, get away from people, I owe people money, I'm in trouble for this, I just want to get away, just trying to escape. Right? The one man in Hong Kong came, I have a wife and 4 kids at home, it's terrible. I want to be a sannyasi. So he wanted to escape, you know. So that's not very good. That's not the way. But if you're serious, like Gaur Govinda Maharaj, Gaur Govinda came to Prabhupada in Vrindavan, and Gaur Govinda also wanted to take sannyas. And Prabhupada spoke with them, and Prabhupada realized this man's very good. And so he said, I will give you sannyas. You just stay here. So,
apparently he told him before he asked.
huh?
Apparently Prabhupada told him before he asked.
Really?
The Maharaj came, he asked him his name, this, I'll give you sannyas.
No, I never.
Yeah, at least
I don't. Okay. Anyway, but Prabhupada certainly gave him sannyas, you know. So the four Kumaras refused the order of their father. So Brahma becomes angry, tries to control it, but he's not able to completely control it. Prabhupada said it was natural to become angry on the refusal of his sons, even though the Kumaras were right in such acts of refusal. Why did Brahma become angry?
He was in a mode of passion.
Yeah, because he's absorbed in the mode of passion. So he could not check, he could not control his anger. So he tried to control his anger, but it came out from between his eyebrows. A child, mixed, blue and red, was immediately generated. The face of anger is the same, blue and red. Brahma tried to curb his anger, could not do so. So Rudra is a mixed color of blue and red. Blue ignorance and red passion. And anger is the product of passion and ignorance. So Rudra was born from the forehead of Brahma, and he begins to cry. You give birth to a baby, they all start crying, right? And that's natural. O destiny maker, teacher of the universe, kindly designate my name and place. Yeah, when you take birth, the baby's crying. Why is he crying? I've taken birth again, oh no. Again, I have to go through the whole thing again. I have to grow up. Oh no, I've made a mistake. I've come back in the material world. When you die, such a relief. That is the end of life. You go out the body, you leave the body. That's over with. Get away from... Other people are all crying, but the person who dies is glad. Oh, so glad to get out of this body. Like Gajendra, when the Lord came, he killed the crocodile. Gajendra said, why you kill him? I was the one who prayed for you. You should kill me. I'm in my body, in this body. So much suffering in the material body. So Rudra is crying and he's asking, what's my place? What name will I have? So Lord Brahma feels sympathy and he tries to comfort him. Don't worry, I will help, I will arrange everything. You will be called Rudra by all people because you have so anxiously cried. And where are you going to stay? Well, I've already selected the following places for you. Where are you going to stay? 12 places, is it? The heart, first of all. The senses, the air of life, the sky, the air, the fire, the water, the earth, the sun, the moon, and austerity. So this creation of Rudra from between the eyebrows. It's like the third eye, isn't it? The third eye between the eyebrows. You get the third eye, but here you've got Rudra coming out. Generated from the mode of passion, partially touched by ignorance. And it's the product of lust, which is the result of the mode of passion. The lust and hankering are unsatisfied, anger appears. The enemy of the conditioned soul, the most sinful enemy, ahankara. So in this way the living entity is completely under the control of material nature. Egocentric attitude is the Rudra principle in the heart. And we're given many examples about the Rudra principle, right? You know some of which ways do you see the Rudra principle manifest?
Destruction.
Huh?
Destruction.
Destruction?
I'm saying that when someone gets angry, their eyes become red.
Yes.
Face become.
Yes. The woman becomes angry, screws up her face and clenches her fist. Right? Angry. And just red hot eyes, kicks her legs. This is a Rudra principle. Man is angry, he breathes. Right? Breathes rapidly. The Rudra represents the air of life, the activities of breathing. And in nature you see also the Rudra principle. The wind blows. Sometimes the rain and the storms which come, Rudra principles. Fire is ablaze, the Rudra principle. An inundation over the earth, again, Rudra principle. Prabhupada said, the snake, the tiger and lion are always representations of Rudra. And sometimes there's heat stroke, and sometimes there's coldness created by the moon. And sometimes the yogis show the influence of the Rudra principle. Huh? Which yogis show that?
Durvasa.
Yeah, Durvasa is angry, right? Under the influence of Rudra principles. And the Brahmana boy, Shringi, cursing Maharaj Parikshit. So this way, the Rudra principle, the Rudra is given different places in which he can reside, which is present there. Of course, we want to try to avoid this kind of displays, not very pleasant things, but they happen. You get very angry. And then we hear 11 other names for Rudra. You will have 11 other names. You've already got one name Rudra, 11 others. Manu, Manu, Mahinasa, Mahan, Siva, Ritadwaja, Ugra Reta, Bhava, Kala, Vamanadev, and Drita Vrat. Nice names for devotees. Right? Devotees also can have these names. Rita Dwaja, there's Rita Dwaja Swami. You know him?
In America.
Yeah.
Houston, he comes to Houston.
Huh?
He used to come to Houston temple.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he used to give Sunday classes, Sunday
Yeah,
Bible.
he's based here, isn't he? Based
Yeah.
in Dallas, or Oklahoma?
No, but he used to come to Houston very frequently.
Yeah.
In Dallas, yeah. And I think now he lives mostly in Govardhan.
Where?
Govardhan?
Govardhan?
Yeah.
What?
Retired with Swami, he spent most of his time at Govardhan, I think.
Govardhan? In India?
Yeah.
Richard Roger? You staying in India?
Yeah, I saw him in Govardhan. He said I spend most of my time here.
Oh, really? Wow. No. Ugrareta. And then you will have 11 wives. 11 wives. Named the Rudranis. They also have nice names for people. Di, Driti, Rasala, Uma, Niyut, Sarpi, Ila, Ambika, Iravati, Swada, and Diksha. Ambika, common name. Uma, common. Driti, also quite common. Number of these names used quite a lot.
Diksha also. Diksha.
Huh?
Diksha.
Is it Drita? Here is Driti.
They said Diksha.
Diksha.
Diksha. But D, and then Driti, then Driti. Diksha, that's at the end. The first two, D and Driti.
And the last one is Diksha.
Yeah, Diksha. I didn't know that was a name until I saw the unusual Diksha. So the Lord tells Rudra, you may now accept, and you can accept all the names and places designated in your different wives, and you are now one of the masters of the living entities. You may increase the population on a large scale. How things have changed, right? Some countries, like I was in China for a long time, they were restricted to one child. They didn't encourage children. But here you can see they're encouraging. Have population on a large scale. Have many children. You know, nowadays people, they have 2 children. Oh, so 2 children, 2 months, so busy. In the past, people have so many children, 10 children, 8 children, no big deal, no problem.
It was considered good karma to have a lot of children in the Vedas.
Huh?
It was considered punya to have a lot of children in the Vedas, like it was from your good karma if you had a lot of children.
Yeah.
So like Dhritarashtra, he had good karma because he had 100 children. He had bad karma because one of them was Duryodhana.
The Rudranis do not mention about Sati and Parvati. What? Rudranis do not have Sati or Parvati, right? They're different from Parvati or Sati. Is it like that? Or they're the same?
I don't know about that. There's no mention of Parvati there. Uma is there. Yeah. Ambika.
Ambika's name of Parvati.
Yeah.
So they're the same, like they're different personalities, and one of them are Parvati.
I don't know.
My understanding is Parvati is an incarnation of Durga. An incarnation, like she appears on the earth with Shiva when he's doing some lila on the earth.
One devotee explained it. He said Parvati is her name at home. Durga is when she goes in the office. And Kali is when she gets angry. It's a different situation.
And so in the Sati Daksha part, Shiva is already married to 11 wives. or in Bhagavatam there's the Sati and Daksha part, right?
Yeah.
So is it that Shiva is already married to 11 wives and the 12th wife is Sati?
Shiva's already married with 11 wives?
Over here.
No. Oh yeah, you have 11, you also have 11 wives called the Rudranis. Well, we never heard this before. How does it work? Does Lord Shiva have 11 wives? We only hear him with Parvati. I never heard it with anybody else. Uma, yeah, okay, Uma's there.
The name of
It's a name.
of Parvati.
Name of Parvati, yeah. Ambika. These are all.
And it's also said how Brahma arranged the marriage of Parvati and Shiva. So later on.
Yeah.
So like Brahma created 11 wives and then later on he arranges again Parvati to get married to Shiva. So, is it connected or is it like different? Question.
I don't know. Anybody know? We're not very good in Shiva Tattva. You have to know how many wives he had. But it's certainly clear, it says you have 11 wives called the Rudranis. Is that what the translation said? The 11 Rudranis.
The Maharaj, Parvati is the eternal consort of Sadashiv, who is residing in the Kailash, above the Chidakas of the transcendental. Like
No.
the Sadashiv is not different from Narayan. There in Brahma Samhita, the card, it's mentioned that milk is converted as card, and there in Padma Puran is all about the conversation between Parvati and Sadashiv. So they are busy, I listen from a devotee only in Bhagavatam class, but they are busy in Bhagavatam only in the eternal abode of Kailash. So that is not annihilated at the time of destruction.
Yeah.
And in this material world, the Shiva, like this Rudra, he manifested in 11 other forms, and they are busy with destruction.
So Lord Shiva manifests 11 other forms.
Yes, Brahma mentioned.
So maybe with each of these forms, one of these wives, one of the Rudranis will be his wife, huh?
Oh, makes sense. Okay. What? So the original, is it like Shiva's incarnations? These 11 are Shiva's incarnations and Shiva's incarnations vibes.
Yeah, it could be like that. But again, we're speculating a bit, we don't really know.
But in planetary system, there is the Sadashiv who reside in that Kailash, that is not annihilated, it's beyond
Yes.
the.
Oh yes, that's true. Yes, Kailash is not annihilated. It's beyond the material realm.
So these Rudras only reside in this material world, but Sadashiv is residing in Kailash.
No, these Rudras are in the material world. Yeah?
Yeah, but we know that Lord Shiva is actually not created by Brahma. It just appears that he's coming from Brahma.
So Sadashiva has no originator. Huh?
Sadashiva has no what?
So no one who created him, like no origin.
Well, Sadashiva is in the spiritual world.
So he's just there eternally. He's never created.
Right. Yeah.
Brahma. But Brahma mentioned in Brahma Samhita that he is like Vishnu is milk and Sadashiv is like curd.
Okay.
Yeah, yes.
Sri Ram Yatata Divikara. That verse, yeah. So that says milk can be transformed into curds by the action of acid. Yeah. So the same way Lord Shiva the Supreme Lord Vishnu can become Shiva, but Shiva never becomes Vishnu. Yeah. It's not very clear, everything, anyway. So Rudra only appears in the material world. Rudra does he go to Kailash?
Is there a material world, Kailash, and a spiritual world?
No, Kailash is in the spiritual world, right?
And the Brihad Bhagavatam, Gopakumara crosses the Brahmajyoti, then he sees Lord Shiva.
Yeah.
It's actually described in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita. It's described that when he was going to go see Lord Shiva, he had this idea of going to the Kailash in the material world, but then he was advised by Indra, I think, that he should go beyond the material world to the spiritual world, the Sada Shiva, or to the the eternal Kailash, where Kuvera is also described in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita.
Well, Kuvera is a friend of Lord Shiva.
Yeah, and he's residing there at the bottom of Kailash.
Yeah.
As far as I understand, and we'll hear also in the fourth canto about the Kailash where Lord Brahma goes. But as far as I understand, the Rudra is not the full incarnation of Shiva like we think of Sada Shiva. Like Sada Shiva is the Lord Vishnu's glance.
Or Sada Shiva is the Vishnu form.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Sada Shiva is the spiritual world. So, Rudra is in Kailash. Does he go to Kailash? Or he just stays in the material world?
In material world, there are also a Kailash.
Oh, in the material world, there's also a Kailash.
Apart and part in Tibet, there is a Kailash.
In Tibet,
Yes.
Himalayan Kailash.
part of China. You have to go into China.
So many pilgrims visited there also.
Yeah.
When the head of Daksha was cut off, he was taken to that Kailash.
Who?
The head of Daksha was removed.
Yeah.
The Lord Brahma takes Daksha to that Kailash in the material world. The description is given. Which canto? Fourth canto.
He cut his head off and then took him to...
The material world Kailash.
Why?
There they reinstate Daksha's head again.
There they gave him the goat's head. And they had to take him to Kailash in the material world to do that, is it?
The description is like material world because they say residents of heavens are also seen in the place.
Oh. Where did you read this? In the fourth canto?
Yeah, fourth.
Okay. So the order is given. Lord Brahma gives the order to Rudra. You may now accept all the names and places designated for you and your different wives. And since you're now one of the masters of the living entities, you may increase the population on a large scale. So the son can refuse the order of the father for higher purposes. And the father can refuse to maintain his sons in increasing population because of higher purposes. Does your father maintain you? Does your father have to give you any money?
The father left his body.
Well, he left the body, right? Before he left, did he give you money?
Yeah, he did. My mom also, she helps out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
She's been very favorable and helpful for the temple.
Well, financially,
Yeah.
so it helps him. So the father can refuse to maintain his sons. if he has higher purposes. And then the red and the blue colors, many offspring. Most powerful Rudra created many offspring exactly resembling him in features, strength and furious nature. Angry young men, right? So they were all angry people, young people, and so you can imagine. They were unlimited in number, and they assembled together, they attempted to devour the entire universe. When Brahma saw this, he became afraid of the situation. So this is not the kind of creation you want. Angry young people disturbing the whole creation. They were so dangerous to the universal affairs. The devotees were also threatened. They make plans to kill even Rudra himself. This is the nature of his devotees. So Rudra's devotees, they're not very gentle people. They're a menace. Sometimes even dangerous to Rudra himself. So Lord Brahma has to think what to do. So he tells Rudra, there is no need for you to generate living entities of this nature. They have begun to devastate everything on all sides with their fiery flames from their eyes, and they have even attacked me. So, you had better situate yourself in penance, which is auspicious for all living entities, which will bring about benediction upon you. By penance only shall you be able to create the universe as it was before. So they're eager to bring about the universe as it was before, because before there had been the annihilation, before the annihilation there was the maintenance, everything was going on. It wasn't so bad, but then the time came for the annihilation, and they started to do the partial annihilation. So with the partial annihilation, then after some time, then again the creation. And they have to do, this is what's going on now. By penance only you'll be able to create the universe as it was before. So that penance is required. You have to do penance. By penance only can one even approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is within the heart of every living entity and who at the same time beyond the reach of the senses. So Rudra was advised by Brahma to perform penance as an example to his sons and followers. The example have to do austerity, tapasya. Thus Brahma, disgusted with the Rudra principle and afraid of being devoured by the increase of population, asked Rudra to stop producing such an unwanted generation and take to penance for attaining the favor of the Supreme Lord. Therefore we find in pictures Rudra is always sitting in meditation for the attainment of the favor of the Lord. So this is the idea. Lord Rudra, he's sitting in meditation, and what's he trying to do? What's the purpose of his meditation? He wants to get the favor. He wants to try to stop the annihilation, and he wants a peaceful creation to take place. So generally the followers of Lord Shiva, they will be impersonalists. They like to sit and meditate. They're fond of that. Lord Shiva himself is also meditating. But Lord Shiva's meditation, he's in samadhi. His mind is fixed on the Lord. Other people that meditate, they just make the mind blank, or they go to sleep, or something. They don't do anything. But Lord Shiva, he is a Vaishnava. He is the devotee. Okay, so Rudra got the order. He's been told what to do. And he goes to the forest to do austerities and penance. Rudra goes off into the forest, goes away from the world.
Does Himalayas have forests?
Huh?
The Himalayas have forests?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Have fire?
No, I said so Himalayas has forests?
Himalayas?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, forests are there. Yeah, you gotta have forests there. You never been up to the Char Dhams? You didn't do Char Dham Yatra? No? You have to go after. When is the time to go? Now it's a bit late, too late. You have to wait for the first time when it opens is, what's that day? When they open businesses, when they should start businesses? Akshaya Tritiya. Yeah, Akshaya Tritiya. You have to go, that's when they open everything up. From the time of Akshaya Tritiya. And you can go to the Char Dham. And it closes when? Somewhere about Kartik time, is it? But, yeah, forests are there. So Brahma was empowered and he thought of generating living entities. And just by his thinking, he generated 10 sons for the extension of the generations. So the names are given: Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulasya, Pulaha, Kratu, Bregu, Vashishta, Daksha, and the 10th son, Narada, were thus born. So how many devotees are there?
Only Narada, no?
Yeah, only Narada is the Bhakta. What about the others? What are they doing?
It's just sages.
Huh?
Huh?
They're engaged in karmakandi activities.
Amazing how rare the devotees are.
Yeah?
Even amongst the sages only Narada.
Brahma created another set of good children who were mostly in favor of worldly, fruitive activities. But he knew that without devotional service there is no real benefit for the conditioned soul.
He calls Narada worthy. The rest are unworthy. He calls Narada worthy, so does that mean that the rest are not worthy sons?
That's right. Narada is the only devotee. The other 9 are all like karmakandiya people. Narada was born from the deliberation of Brahma, which is the best part of the body. Vashishta was born from his breathing, Daksha from a thumb, Bhrigu from his touch, Kratu from his head. The very name Narada suggests that he can deliver the Supreme Lord. Nara means the Supreme Lord, and Da means one who can deliver. So that's the meaning of the name. Can be delivered to any person, but Narada can deliver to anyone the transcendental loving service of the Lord. It is Narada who only can deliver. He can deliver the path of Bhakti Yoga, the highest mystic means for attainment of the Supreme Lord. And then you hear about different people generated from different parts of the body and places. Religion, what about religion and irreligion? Religion is manifested from the breast of Brahma, and irreligion appeared from his back. Horrible death takes place for the living entity. Like Prabhupada was in the airplane and the pilot was asking him about Krishna consciousness, and the pilot asked him, where does evil come from? So Prabhupada says, it comes from the backside of the Lord. From the good side, from the front part of the Lord, then religion comes. And irreligion comes from the back. Irreligion is just the opposite of religion. All types of irreligion spring from the back of Brahma. Devotional service generated from the chest. Anything which does not lead to devotional service is irreligion, and anything which leads to devotional service is called religion. So we haven't had a break yet, we have to have our break. So the front side of the Lord is for religion, and the back side is irreligion. And devotional service from the chest, where the seat of Narayan is there. Okay, we'll have a break. Brahma also creates the Gayatri, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The sacred thread. Lord Brahma. What is the sacred thread? Lord Brahma.